And where do you live?
I live here in Pensacola, Florida. I've lived here the majority of my life. I just moved to Pensacola from Gulf Breeze. I did live over there at the beach, spent all my time there. You know, I've grew up on these beaches.
Were you here April the 20th of this year?
Yes, I was. I was actually at the river, out at Muskogee River, and celebrating Earth Day and looking at the beautiful scenery and enjoying the water. And I didn't even know about it because I don't have cable TV. So I didn't even know about it until about 3 days later.
When you say it, what are you talking about?
The MC-252 incident with Deepwater Horizon when it exploded in the Gulf.
What impact has that had on your life emotionally?
I'm an absolute wreck. First I was outraged and then I was mad, and so, you know, the opportunity came up for me to take a job with the beach cleanup, and I weighed it out for myself. I said, you know, if I don't do this, I think I'd hate myself for the rest of my life, because these are my beaches, and if I can do anything to help, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to dedicate my life to.
Has that had any effect on your health?
Absolutely.
In what ways?
Well, I'm normally a very energetic person. I don't get sick very often. When I do get sick, I get very sick. After 2 days of working in a very heavily fresh oiled area on the beach, I immediately got sick. The next morning I woke up with a fire burning sore throat. My sinuses were running, my eyes were watering. I had upper respiratory, I had stuff in my lungs already. I mean, it was just absolutely ridiculous. As far as long term, you know, we just got laid off 3 weeks ago, but you know, they changed our schedule and we only worked 3 days one week and 4 days another week. And after those days that I would work, it was like I was going through detox of some kind. After I wasn't having 12-hour exposure every day, I would be shaking. My hands would be shaking uncontrollably. Headache, I mean, every single day that I went out there, I had a headache. Horrible, horrible headache. Nauseous. As soon as I would get even close to the beach, I would be nauseous. But as far as the days after working, my limbs would fall asleep. I mean, I could sit and cross my arms just like this, and my whole entire arm would fall asleep in about 2 seconds. Not 2 seconds, but about 2 minutes. The whole thing would be asleep. Tremors, I can't sleep, and not to mention depression.
First of all, did you come in contact with the water at all?
No, because they would not allow us to get near the water. They would not allow us to clean anything out of the water, even if it wasn't the Gulf and there was, you know, a small temporary inlet on the beach where I was working. They wouldn't let us go anywhere near the water. So I personally have not been exposed to the water, because after it happened, I went in the water a couple times before the oil got here. But since then I haven't eaten the seafood, I haven't given in the water, because I know better.
Are you having any negative effects from it now?
I'm still pretty sluggish, but as far as, you know, day-to-day health problems, no.
BP,
but a lot of people I know are.
How many people do you know that are claiming these health-related illnesses?
Well, you know, the thing is that it's people who don't even work on the beach. It's people who never worked beach cleanup. It's people all around town, car dealers, delivery people, you know, all kinds of people who work outside jobs, who have just come down with this crud that they can't get rid of. It doesn't matter, antibiotics, you know, steroids, none of it matters. None of it will make it go away.
We've been hearing about BP doing safety meetings prior to beach cleanup every day.
Yes, I mean, you know, the company that I worked for was P2S. It's a great company. I mean, as far as who they were taking their orders from, I mean, the people that I worked for were good people, and they felt the same way we did. They wanted to get the beach cleaned up. They thought it was all BS, how, you know, they would take us to places where there was oil, wouldn't let us clean it up, you know, so on and so forth. I totally forgot what your question was.
What do you mean they wouldn't let you clean it up?
Well, what happened is that we would go to places on the beach according to the higher ups coordinates. And you know, we would go to a section of the beach and we would clean it, and we would pass, you know, yards and yards and yards of beach that was completely covered in tar balls, only to go to a section of the beach that was clean. And my personal opinion on why they would do that is because they don't want people knowing how much oil and tar is still on the beach, period. If they take us to a place where there's nothing on the surface to clean, our buckets of oil and tar are going to be low for that day. You know, and at that point, you know, several people on my crew said, screw it. We know the oil's here. We're going to dig for it. And we found it. And we started producing 30 buckets a day, 40 buckets a day. I mean, it's out there. It's still out there right now, but they wouldn't let us clean it. It was like a covert operation trying to get the tar off the beach. There's still years of work to be done out there. Period.
I spoke with some Coast Guard folks yesterday who told me that they're using augers, you know, power drill to drill the beach and take core samples, and they're finding dispersed oil as far as 6 feet into the beach. Would that surprise you? Not
at all. That would not surprise me one bit. I've seen it. I've dug it up with my own hands. I have pictures of it. I have video of it. I've seen it. It is there. It is all over all of the beaches. Pensacola Beach, Johnson Beach, Orange Beach. It's everywhere. Not to mention the fact that there are different colors of sand. There's new sand out there on the beaches. They're coming out there. When we get to work, we got to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, we couldn't go onto the beach until the big machinery came off the beach. I'm talking about sand sharks, front end loaders, backhoes, whatever you have to, you know, and they go out there and they work at night. We did have manpower on the beaches at night, but they got rid of that so they could bring their machines out and cover up and, you know, sift and whatever they wanted to do and make a huge mess and try to cover everything up.
Is there any one thing that you had to clean up that stuck out in your mind more than anything else?
I mean, there are several things that bothered me. The whole thing bothered me. The whole operation was an absolute joke.
How about animals, fish?
Oh yeah, I mean, we saw sea turtles coming up, just floating in oil right there. Just 3 weeks ago, I've got pictures of dead crabs. You know, talk about Jubilees, a big thing around here when all the crabs come up and, you know, they start laying their eggs and all this. Well, it was like Jubilee, but all the crabs were dead and they were belly up in the water. Clothing, boots. We even got a warning one day that there might be body parts coming up on the beach because they found a finger. And, you know, that was a possibility. They were like, if you find a body part, you know, like, it's so lackadaisical. If you find a body part, or, you know, we found pieces of the rig. I mean, just all kinds of just pieces of burnt material that you don't normally see coming out of the Gulf, you know. One thing that really did bother me that will always stick out in my mind is an issue I had, and it was when I got sick, you know, worked that heavily oiled area. I mean, you can see the fumes coming up. And so I got sick, and the next day I went and got some dust masks. And I said, you know what, I don't care if everybody else out here is too stupid to protect themselves, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to wear a mask. I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to wear my mask. I had it on for about 20 minutes when some third-party safety guy comes by and calls me over, and my foreman calls me over and says, I'm going to need you to remove your mask. I said, for what reason? And he said, it's not necessary at this time. And I looked at him like he was crazy. I said, fine, you know, because he didn't work for P2S. He was a third-party safety guy. And I walked over to my superintendent and said, look, I got a big problem. And at this point, I'm so angry, I'm in tears, because I'm thinking about all the people that are out there working with me that are being exposed to all this, and I'm scared and I'm angry, and I go up and I said, look, I have a big problem. This guy's telling me to take my mask off. I said, it's BS. I said, I know that I'm allowed to personally protect myself. One of the questions that I had to answer to get this job was, true or false, you are responsible for your own safety, and I'm responsible for my own safety. You know, it's people they're so afraid that the people in this country are going to realize what a big deal this is and how sick people are, that they don't want people spreading panic. They don't want to see people out there with masks on. They want the beaches to be open. They want tourism to flow. They want money. They don't care about the kids in the water. They don't care about the workers out there that are getting sick. And I've got pictures and video going down the beach, and we're passing up huge chunks of oil that are around roped off areas where turtles lay their eggs. Nobody's cleaning it. We're just going right by it and just passing it by. So.
How many times did you encounter something like that?
Oh, every day. Every single day. I mean, we would go out there and it was a dog and pony show. They would say, oh, you know, the BP execs are coming and the O'Brien guys are here, so you guys need to go clean right here in front of the pavilion, where there was absolutely no oil to clean up.
What were those areas in relation to the tourist industry on the beach?
Right in front of the pavilion. Those are the areas that were concentrated the most on, in front of the condos, in front of the restaurants, in front of the pavilions where tourism people go, where they get out of their car and they post up on the beach. Those are the areas that we concentrated the most on. Down at the point at Johnson Beach, down by Eglin Air Force Base, is still covered in tar and oil right now as we speak. I don't care if you want to go 2 inches, 4 inches, 4 feet, 6 feet, I don't care, it's there. It's disgusting and it's still there. The beaches are not clean. If we think we were doing a dog and pony show, they are doing a dog and pony show. They have got the American public so fooled. They need to come back here and clean up this mess. They need to stop drilling in the Gulf, or it's going to continue to happen over and over again. And that if they think that they're going to walk away from the Gulf Coast and the strong citizens that live here, they are dead wrong. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's either one of two things when it comes to President Obama, who I regretfully voted for. It's either he's dumb as a rock and he has no idea what's going on, or he's bought and paid for just like every other president that we've ever had is. You know, and he gets on national television and says, the water is safe, the seafood is safe to eat, and the beaches are clean. Are you kidding me? They want people to come down and eat the crabs and eat the fish and swim in the beautiful green water. That's totally toxic.
You live here?
Yes.
Would you eat the seafood?
Hell no.
Thank you.